Most people think saving money is the finish line, but what if I told you that saving money by itself is quietly making you poor every single year? Not because you're doing something wrong, but because nobody ever taught you what comes after the saving part. And that missing step is the reason so many disciplined, hard-working savers retire with way less than they should have. Here's something that's going to sound backwards at first. The people who save the most money are often the ones falling behind financially. I know that sounds crazy. Saving is supposed to be the responsible thing to do, right? You skip the takeout, you build up your emergency fund, you watch that number in your bank account slowly climb. It feels good. It feels safe. But here's the strange part. While your savings account is sitting there earning almost nothing, the price of everything around you keeps climbing. Groceries, rent, gas, insurance. That's inflation, and it's not some abstract economic term. It's a quiet tax on anyone who saves and never invests. Your money isn't just sitting still, it's actually losing value while you sleep. Let me put this in a way that actually hits home. Imagine you put $10,000 in a regular savings account in 2015. 10 years later, that $10,000 might still say $10,000 on the screen. But what it can actually buy you, that's shrunk a lot. I actually watched this happen to someone I know. 2 coworkers, same job, same salary, same starting point. One of them saved every extra dollar in a regular savings account for 10 years straight. Proud of it too. Never missed a deposit. The other one did almost the same thing, except she moved her extra savings into a simple investment account once a year and just left it alone. 10 years later, the first coworker had worked just as hard, sacrificed just as much, and ended up with roughly the same amount he started saving. The second one had more than double. Same discipline, same sacrifice, completely different outcome. And the only difference between those two people wasn't luck or income or some secret insider knowledge. It was one decision, the decision to move from saving to investing. So why don't more people make that move? This is where it gets interesting, because the answer isn't really about money at all. It's about psychology. Most people stay stuck in saving mode because investing feels scary and complicated. It feels like something for rich people, or Wall Street guys in suits, or your uncle who won't stop talking about the stock market at Thanksgiving. There's this invisible wall in people's minds that says, investing is risky, saving is safe. And on the surface, that seems logical. But here's the shocking part. Never investing is actually the riskier choice long term. You're just trading a fast, visible risk for a slow, invisible one. Think about it like this. Saving money and never investing it is like filling up a bucket with a slow leak. It looks full. It feels full, but every year a little bit drains out without you noticing. Investing, on the other hand, is like patching that leak and adding a small drip of new water flowing in on top of it. It's not about gambling your money away. It's about finally putting it somewhere it can actually grow. Now, very few people understand this next part, and it's the piece that changes everything. You don't need to choose between saving and investing. They're not enemies. They're two different stages of the exact same journey. Saving is step 1. It's how you build your foundation and your safety net. Investing is step 2. It's how you take that foundation and turn it into real lasting freedom. Quick question before we go further. Think about your own bank account right now. Is your money actually working for you? Or is it just sitting there, waiting? Keep that answer in mind, because it's about to change. So let's break down exactly how that transition happens, step by step, in a way that actually makes sense. Step 1 is building what I like to call your safety cushion. Before you invest a single dollar, you want 3 to 6 months of basic expenses sitting in a regular savings account. This isn't about growth. This is about protection. Life throws curveballs. Cars break down. Jobs get lost. Emergencies happen. This cushion means you'll never have to sell your investments in a panic just to cover rent. Think of it as the seatbelt you put on before you start driving anywhere. Step 2 is where most people freeze up. Honestly, it's the simplest part. Once your cushion is built, anything extra you save each month doesn't need to sit in that same savings account anymore. It needs a new job. And that new job is investing. This doesn't mean picking hot stocks. It doesn't mean trying to guess the next big winner. For most people, it means something incredibly boring and incredibly effective, like a low-cost index fund. something that basically bets on the entire economy growing over time instead of betting on one company or one lucky guess. Here's why this matters so much psychologically. When you're just saving, your brain sees money as something to protect and hoard. When you start investing, even small amounts, your brain starts seeing money as something that works for you. That shift in identity, from saver to investor, is honestly bigger than the actual dollar amount you start with. Step 3 is consistency. And this is where the real magic happens. This is where compound growth quietly takes over. Compound growth is one of those ideas that sounds boring until you actually see it play out. Your money earns returns. Then those returns start earning their own returns. It's slow at first, almost frustratingly slow. But here's the part most people never stick around long enough to see. The growth curve isn't a straight line. It's a curve that bends upward faster and faster the longer you leave it alone. This is exactly why so many self-made millionaires didn't get rich from one lucky break or one genius investment. They got rich from decades of unglamorous consistency, small, boring, repeated actions that compounded into something enormous. And this is where everything changes for the average person watching this right now. You don't need $10,000 to start. You don't need to understand every finance term. You need 2 things: a safety cushion and a habit of putting money to work instead of letting it sit still. So here's your practical takeaway: the exact path forward. First, calculate 3 to 6 months of basic expenses and set that as your savings goal, kept separate and untouched. Second, once that cushion exists, open a simple investment account and start putting any extra savings into a broad, low-cost index fund. Third, automate it. Set it up so a portion of every paycheck moves there automatically before you even see it in your checking account. This removes willpower from the equation entirely, and willpower is unreliable. Systems aren't. That's genuinely it. That's the entire bridge between saving and investing. Not complicated formulas, not perfect timing, just protection first, then consistent growth, repeated long enough for compounding to do the heavy lifting. Here's the thought I want you to leave with. Saving money proves you can control your spending, but investing money is what actually builds your future. One protects who you are today, the other creates who you could become in 20 years. And the moment you stop treating your savings account as the final destination and start treating it as the launching pad, everything about your relationship with money starts to change. If you found this useful, subscribe to the Money Mind Hub, because understanding money isn't just about earning more, it's about thinking differently.